fascinating, the way that their whiskers work, just like any other animal, incredibly bristly. And I have had the opportunity to touch the area around a hippo's mouth before, during a routine medical treatment with one of the hippos that we had on a reserve. Unbelievably bristly. Shame. Hey, boy. Morning stations, my comms are about 2 out of 5. I was just wondering what that update was around Cheetah Plains Pan. Copy that, thank you. Could I take a standby for that? I'm at 3 in a row pan now. Copy that, thanks very much. Sorry everybody, this hippo is lovely, but we have somewhere to go. We have somewhere to rush to. Oh, how exciting! I'm not going to tell you what it is. Sorry, Mr. Hippo. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Shame the poor hippo at the moment. A hippopotamus, when it's in proper water, when it's in a river, when it's in a proper depth, when it's in a sort of proper deep river, is the most wonderful thing. You can walk right up to the side of the river, you can get within a couple of meters of it, and they are so incredibly relaxed. But unfortunately, they just don't have that availability at the moment. They don't have that sense of surety. And we've noticed a lot with the hippopotamus that they are not themselves. They're a little bit grumpy, a little bit short-tempered, and it's always important to give them as much space as we possibly can whenever we're passing by a body of water like that, because they just don't feel safe at all. Sorry everybody, we gotta rush. Oh, I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm excited. We don't have that far to go. We've just got to cover this patch of ground past the Cheetah Plains antenna that we put up, or the repeater that we put up not too long ago. Oh, I'm so excited. Dave, yes. Remember the conversation that we had where I said we're not going to see this particular animal because they were going in the opposite direction 3 days ago? I was wrong, Dave.
I'm so glad.
I am so glad too. What wonderful, wonderful news. Such a perfect day as well. I think some of you will have guessed, but still. They are unfortunately moving north, hence the reason for the rush. They're moving on a cold, cloudy day like today. All of our predators are moving, which means we've got to race across before they decide to pop onto Nkoro, which of course we can't follow them onto. Sorry, Dave. Whee! There was a minor loss of control there, Dave. I don't know if you noticed. It's okay, we just keep the foot on the accelerator, it'll be fine. That's what I've learned with dirt roads. Oh, there's even water here. That's a surprise. Sorry, can't stop to look. So Cheetah Plains has obviously had quite a bit of rain. I know that Brent was talking about the amount of rain we've had. Aaron in New Zealand. Of course, Aaron. You want to know if perhaps we could try and find the jackal pair. I know, Aaron, that you absolutely love jackal, as do I, and I'm always on the lookout for them, so yes, we will try and find the jackal pair. It's amazing the difference in working in different areas and at different times, and the rise and fall of populations. I have worked in reserves where you hear jackal all of the time, and it's the most amazing, magical, haunting call, and yet it's something that we hardly ever hear in the northern Sabi sand. I'm looking forward, because of course populations, oh my goodness, my word, And Vicky, you say, ooh, could it be Cheetah, Cheetah, Cheetah? Maybe. I don't know where to go. Sorry, hold on one moment. Andrew for Jamie. Sorry, Andrew, what's your exact position? Copy that. Thanks very much, Andrew. Well done, Dave. You're a star. They're moving south. No, no, no. They can't go north and they can't go south, otherwise we lose them. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I'm going to blow away. My microphone's going to blow away. Imagine if we had the roof on, Dave. Could view them from the air. Hold on. Sorry, Lou, I've got no idea what you just said. The wind is howling. Yeah, let me try cupping my ear. I do copy you, Lou, I do. James, you want to know on the subject of our roof, how quickly it can be put on or taken off. Not very quickly was our experience. Oh, I'm so excited. Yay! I can see the vehicles. James, it's surprisingly heavy. In theory, we could do it 2 of us at a time. Dave and myself could probably get it on and off, but the other day when we had to try and take it off, it took 5 of us. Admittedly, I think that's just because we need to get used to the whole process, but it's bolted in, so you've got to, hence the presence of my 17 spanner. Which way are we going, Darby? Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, there they are. It's not a quick process, James, but in theory we should be able to just offload, dump it if we need to. For example, we're doing a mad wild dog chase off-road and it's not raining too much. Oh, yes. I'm so excited. Oh, what an absolute pleasure. I'm so glad I've been proved wrong. That's actually a really, really very cool image. There we go. My goodness me, boys. Have you eaten something recently, or is it just me? Look at the bellies on these cheetah. Ah, what an amazing sight. Well, what's happening there, mister? Find yourself a nice comfortable position standing on the trees. So for those of you that perhaps are joining us for the first time, this is an incredibly exciting sight. A pair of male cheetah. Probably, in terms of the animals that we see, these are pretty much the only cheetah that we've actually had the opportunity, apart from the skittish male that sometimes comes through to Djuma. These 2 males are the cheetah stars of our live safaris. I've never seen them this fat, though. And they're moving about, marking their territory. This is the route that they always follow. They seem to be heading towards Mala Mala, which is why it was so important that we raced in the way that we did. For a creature that is usually incredibly sleek and slender, it's wonderful to see them looking so fat and well-fed. There's no other word for it. They are positively fat. Come on, climb the tree. That's a sight that we don't often get to see, but I have seen in the past, is a cheetah climbing a tree. They're not quite as good as leopards, and in fact they're probably slightly worse than lions in terms of their tree climbing ability, but they can do it. I don't think I've ever seen such a fat cheetah in my life. Really, genuinely. I don't know what they have eaten, but they are very clearly well fed. That's amazing. Just goes to show what an impressive physique these animals have. That they are able to gorge themselves to this extent and still remain as athletic as they are. Oh, I love cheetah. We hardly ever get to see them, so this is so exciting. One of the things I'm really keen to show you all, and I don't know whether it's ever happened on a live drive, it probably has, given the history of these live safaris, but one of the things I would love to show you. Thank you so much, Andrew.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Hi, guys. I'll tell you what I want to show you in a moment. Morning, how are you? Good, thanks. Awesome. Yes, little chilly. I would love to be able to show you, or for you to be able to hear the sound that cheetah make when they're calling each other. It sounds like a bird. That they chirp. Look at this. Properly, oh wow, properly marking their territory. And male cheetah are so particular. They walk an almost precise route. They have particular trees, kind of like leopards and lions, but even more specific. Precise trees that they stop and mark their territory at. That cheetah is just a belly with legs. Wow. How lucky are we? And Stephanie, you say that you haven't seen a cheetah jackal oryx. Is that, yeah, cheetah jackal or oryx yet on the drive? Well, I'm very happy to show you cheetah. They are such extraordinary creatures. Sorry, it's time for us to move, actually. Let's go and catch up with them before they disappear across the Mala boundary. It's an absolute pleasure to be able to show you cheetah. You could also see jackal. I'm afraid to say, though, that oryx is probably not going to happen, unfortunately. They are a far more arid-dwelling antelope. They are one of my favorite, just by the way. We call them gemsbok. 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 That hard G in Afrikaans. And they are absolutely one of my top 5 antelope to see. They're beautiful, they're strong, they're powerful, and brave. Such brave. I know that maybe sounds a little bit too anthropomorphic, but I personally think they are unbelievably brave in terms of the way that they interact with the world around them. Yes, gemsbok would be an absolute pleasure, but unfortunately not going to happen. But cheetah and jackal, on the other hand, we can absolutely provide, and are doing so. Hello, boys. In perfect sync. Our cheetah coalition is a very, very special thing. Now, looking at these bellies, it's hard to imagine that the cheetah want to eat anything further anytime soon. But Sarah, you want to know how long it'll take to digest this meal and how long it will sustain them. A big meal like this will probably sustain them for a considerable period of time, if necessary. However, because of their incredibly rapid metabolism, it's one of the things that allows them those vast bursts of speed, albeit for a very short distance. they're probably going to be back to their sleek, normal selves in 30 or so hours. That will be digested. It'll have moved through their digestive tract. And you'll find that with all predators. They gorge themselves, they look incredibly fat and comfortable, but it only lasts about 2 days, sometimes less. And in the case of a cheetah with its rapid metabolism, even less than 2 days. So if we were, which is unlikely, but if we did have the ability to see them on a more regular basis, you would see that by tomorrow morning, they'd start to look sleek again. And by a day and a half, it would be gone. And they'd be on the lookout for food once again. And even with these full bellies, they'd still potentially hunt. Oh, this is wonderful. They're moving west as opposed to south. And Vernie, thank you so much for sending through your question, and I'm so glad we could share your first cheetah sighting on Safari Live with you. Oh, flop. Yes, I'd also flop down if I was that full. Vernie, you wanted to know, because cheetah have had such a hard time as a species, and let's just go a bit closer. Oh, no, hold on. Let's wait for it to stop rolling. Yeah, now we'll go closer. Vernie, you wanted to know if their numbers are recovering at all in the Kruger National Park. The Kruger National Park has the greatest meta-population of cheetah anywhere in Africa. So we have a healthy number of cheetah. Their numbers remain pretty much the same, though. And it's one of those interesting things. It's something that biologists and evolutionary biologists and scientists, conservationists have argued at length about. And the question is, how much of a cheetah's decline is actually just a natural part of their evolution? They have become hyper-specialized as a species. Oh, look at that. How amazing. Spot puddle. So as a species, cheetah have become hyper-specialized, and they just aren't all that resilient. In terms of genetic variability, they have got very, very little difference in terms of their genetics between individuals. And that is probably as a result of a population bottleneck. So something happened that wiped out most of the cheetahs in the world many, many thousands of years ago, and they just haven't quite recovered. And without genetic variability, they've got no resilience as a species. And of course, it's a difficult one, because as human beings, we have had a tremendous impact on all species in terms of habitat loss, pollution, and all sorts of other impacts that we as a species have. But at the same time, cheetah just aren't very successful. And the question is their extinction a natural part of evolution, or their gradual extinction, or have we been responsible as human beings? And it's a line that's very difficult to draw. The population in the Kruger National Park is fine. It's healthy. And looking at these cheetah and looking at these beautiful cats, anywhere in the world, or anywhere in Africa that you have an overpopulation of lions, cheetah disappear. I'm just going to take, it's going to rock the vehicle a little bit. I'm going to take my foot off the brake. There we go. I'm frozen in joy with my foot flat on the brake. But anyway, you've got an overpopulation of lions. As I said, cheetah disappear. And that is one of the reasons why, and it's a big conversation topic, and it's a difficult conversation topic. That's one of the reasons why in this area the Sabi Sand have not intervened where the Styx cubs, for example, have had mange. And it's because it's all part of a natural population control, a natural cycle of things. It's hard for us to watch, but in a way, it will indirectly benefit creatures like these. It's a difficult one, but it is all part of nature's way. And cheetah have such a hard time of things. Oh, speaking of lions, this is the only other example with our big cats that you will see of a permanent social grouping. Jessica, you want to know if it's common to see male cheetah without a female. And yes, that is how cheetah work. So females are solitary, and they actually aren't even territorial. They just have massive undefended home ranges, huge areas. Oh my goodness. We're going to blow away, sorry. So Jessica, yes, the females are solitary and only ever come together with the males to mate. Males, on the other hand, form these coalitions, and unlike lions, it is very strict in terms of the coalitions that they form. They will only form a coalition with their brothers, sometimes on very rare occasions with cousins, but that is exceptional. It's usually brothers, and the reason behind that is, unlike a male lion coalition, where all of the members will at some point have a chance to mate and propagate their own genes, in cheetahs they have a very strict hierarchy. Now, one of the things, we haven't really had the option or had the chance to really observe the behavior of these cheetah to get an idea of which one is more dominant, but you'll always find that there is a more dominant brother, and only they have a chance to mate. And that's why they're so strict about the coalitions that they form, because if only one of you gets a chance to mate, it makes sense that you only want the success of your brother, because then he's propagating 50% of your genetic material. And you get cheetah coalitions, they can number up to 7, even 8 at a time, although that is relatively unusual. It's more common to see about 2 of them together, or maybe 3, usually 2. And we live and we dream in hope at Safari Live that one day we will see a female cheetah, because I haven't yet in the northern Sabi sand. They're here, we just haven't seen them. And there we go. Hello, Fuzzman Sparkles. It's good to have you back once again. Fuzzman Sparkles, you wanted to know how big a male coalition can get. As I said, in exceptional circumstances, up to about 8. But that's relatively unusual. You're usually looking at about 2, but any number between 2 and 8 can occur in the wild. Absolutely magic. Now, I need to do some chattering on the Game Drive channel, so while I do that, we'll send you back across to Steph for an update on his side.
We've decided to get out of the wind and to build ourselves a little bit of a camp, and although we don't have much for the makings of a coffee or anything like that, we definitely can get out of the wind and we can make a fire. So what we've done is we've just set up our rain tarp, which is something that will keep us dry if we were caught out here in a sick shape over here. Just a basic A-frame with the one side a little bit higher than the other, and then pegged out. I'm now in the process. I've managed to light myself a piece of dry elephant dung. Now the outside of this elephant dung is wet, so the outside we can't light, but the inside we definitely can, as you can see over there. And once I have my coal going, I will begin to try and find some leaves to try and put in there. Alright, so that won't go out. I have some spare over here in case we need some. So now what we need to do is start collecting kindling. Now, kindling is basically bits and pieces of dried woody material that you can use to put onto the coal that you've now made inside your elephant dung. It's a good idea to keep it sheltered as much as what you can. If you can light another one, here we go. So now that'll just keep it going, slowly smoldering, not too fast. If you put it in the wind, it'll burn out too quickly and you'd have to light another one. And on a day like today, where it's been raining for the last couple of days on and off, and the sun hasn't really come out, it makes it a bit difficult. And let me tell you something, when you're out here in the bush, there's nothing better than a fire to lift your spirits. So what I'm going to do now is I'm preparing a bunch of sticks that we're going to use to start our fire. So me and my brain, I always like these sticks to be in an ordered pile. what you do is you'd gradually make the sticks a little bit thicker as you go on, using drier and drier material, or as drier material as what you can find really. Get them down. What we're going to try and do is go up in radius, so that you don't have to keep on adding fuel. Alrighty. You don't want it too close to your rain shelter. You don't want flames too close to your rain shelter, at least anyway. So it's always a good idea to build your fire a little bit away build your fire a little bit away from where you're going to be sleeping if you end up sleeping out here. And to either heat up stones if you can, or scrape coals under the sand when you want to sleep at night. So what you can do is you can scrape a little trench and you can put some coal inside there. When it's burning, you scrape it into the stick, cover it with a bit of sand, and that'll give you a warm bed to sleep on as well. It doesn't get too hot. Depends on how deep you bury the sand. I found if I bury hot rocks about this deep below the sand, you can almost always just lie straight on it and it's very, very warm. But absolutely. Alrighty, so now I need to go and have a look for some leaves. I don't know if these are going to burn. And I have to find some grass or some leaves. There's no grass at the moment. The termites, what the animals haven't eaten, the termites have eaten. So it looks like we're going to have to do this with sticks, which is going to prove a mighty task. And ask and you shall receive. Some grass gets thrown in from the side. Siberia, Zumi, you've said that maybe I should roast an insect over the fire and have some breakfast. That's actually a good idea. We've got a termite mound in the background over here, and the soldier termites make an absolutely fantastic meal. Alright, so here we go. Let's try and get this piece of grass alight, and then on top of that we are going to try and add some sticks. So let's do that. Let's get our pile of sticks ready. Here we go. Come on. All I'm doing is melting my eyeball. Here we go. Come on, take, please. Got a lung full of elephant dung smoke there. We're getting there, don't worry. Try as you might. You will succeed eventually. Alright, we're getting there, don't worry. I see more grass is arriving by the second. Amber, you've just asked me if I'm serious about cooking and eating a bug. Absolutely. I'm not going to do it right now, I don't think, unless I'm seriously hungry. What I'm thinking about doing is just boiling some water and having a warm cup of something to drink on this blustery day. That's mainly what I feel like doing. But you can absolutely eat insects. What you need to do is stay away from insects that are red or yellow or black or have any markings of red, yellow or black on. But generally most insects here you can eat with little to no problem. Come on. There we go. Almost set myself alight there. Alright, we've got some flames going here now for slightly thicker wood. There we go. Come on, little flames. Getting there. We've got a permanent flame. Yes, we've got one. Finally. There's no elephant or rhino dung around. Could you use horse dung or any dung as a substitute? You absolutely could. You don't necessarily need elephant dung. I only use elephant dung because inside it stays relatively dry, and outside as well there's a lot of wood in it, and so when it burns it really does burn quite well. We have flames. Took us a bit of time and a lot of oxygen, but we got flames. Now we just need to get some larger stumps burnt as well. Burning. And now basically a fire just becomes an exercise in adding gradually larger and larger pieces of wood until you have a proper fire going, which I'm hoping to get done now. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to go and look for some more wood to put in our fire, and then we're going to heat up some water. We're going to sit here and enjoy some flames for a bit and enjoy a nice cup of water. And in the meantime, we're going to send you over to Brent, who's got something to show you.
Well, I'm quite jealous of that fire, and I think Chandra is as well. It is quite nippy this morning, but indeed we do have something to show. More than one thing, in fact. Here we go. Hello, Inkahumas. I know there was a single cub missing. It was spotted this morning, but I wonder if it's made its way back to the rest of the pride. It was seen not too far from here. At the moment, I can only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cubs and 1 lioness. That's not to say the rest aren't about here somewhere. Ooh, it's the first time I've seen a slightly hungry looking Inkahuma. They've been so full and saturated over the last while. Now, Morning Glory was wondering how far that lost cub was seen from the pride. Probably no more than about 500 meters from here. They're all looking back quite intently. Interesting. Hello, little one. And as you can see, the rains came in the nick of time for the Inkahuma cubs, and their mange seems to have abated. Now, mange is one of those things that comes about in times of drought. I'm going to join the female by the looks of things. Not lying in the nicest spot. It's quite thick on the edge of a little river system. Now apparently one of the Birminghams, I'm not sure which one yet, and one of the females moved north from here. So we'll have a quick look what's happening here. Then I think those two might be mating, so we might go look for them shortly. There we go. Cubs all over the place. I can see 5 cubs at the moment. There we go, 1, 2, 3. And there's another lioness at the back there. sexy lady would like to know if that other cub can be picked up in a blanket and driven to the rest of the pride. I'm sure it can. Whether it's a good idea is in question. Even in a blanket, that little lion cub at this age would how to say this, would make you look like you'd been in a violent stabbing. Those claws and teeth would absolutely destroy a blanket and absolutely destroy anyone who tried to put it in a blanket. Firstly, it'd be very difficult to catch. Even an injured or unwell cub would be very, very feisty. Now, as much as humans want to interfere, it's a bad idea, and you must really, if you really love wild animals, you let them be wild and you don't interfere. And cub mortality and cub death is part of nature. It's natural, and on average, about 70% of all little cubs that are born to the big cats will perish. Now, if they had a 100% success rate in raising their young, there'd be no impala, wildebeest, zebra, or buffalo left. And there's a reason that these animals have high mortality rates, and nature is in balance. And as much as we want to be gardeners in Eden, this is Eden, and it doesn't need us to garden it. It gardens itself. Yeah, they're all lying up in a relatively thick area. So quickly across to Jamie, who is with the other cat of the morning, and they're unfortunately heading south.
And indeed, as Brent said, unfortunately, our cheetah are very much on their way into Mala Mala. They are standing on the boundary as we speak. But we have been incredibly fortunate to spend as much time as we have. Luckily for us, unlike most of the other safari vehicles, is of course we have the camera with the incredible capacity to zoom in. Hey Dave, no, we don't have to disappear anywhere. We can stick with them. They just stopped for a moment to spend a little bit of time resting on the road, and who can blame them? With those enormous bellies, I wouldn't be planning on moving anywhere anytime soon. And there we go, cheetah watering the plains of Cheetah Plains, marking their territory. And as I said, they have regular marking spots. Watch this, now the other male's going to do it. Or not? Come on, boy. Setting a bad example. But actually that does give us an interesting insight into the behavior of cheetah males as they mark territories, because they take turns to mark the separate boundaries and the sort of the separate objects. So one of them will go and mark one tree, the other one will go and mark the next tree, and so on. Which makes total sense, because of course saving up your stock of urine, with the two of you sort of spreading it out, you'll go twice as far. What a beautiful view. I'm still absolutely flabbergasted by those bellies. I really genuinely, I'm not joking, I have never seen such a fat cheetah in my life. They are so well fed, which of course is wonderful. Oh, James, I didn't realize that. I actually hadn't properly looked at into their eyes. And James apparently has noticed that one of these cheetah brothers has what looks to be a cataract. And he wanted to know whether or not that is related to age or if it is related to an injury. Just bear with me one moment. We're going to just catch up with them. Well, no, we're not. We're going to go and watch them as they walk further south along the boundary. James, I honestly don't know. And actually it would be relatively impossible to tell in terms of what has actually happened to them. I've been looking at their canines because earlier on I was asked a question as to how old these cheetah might be. And of course we don't know for certain. I haven't had a chance to get to know them properly. But I've been trying to look at their canines and they don't seem to be that old in terms of the wear and tear on their teeth. Perhaps I need to have another look. But it could be injury related. But I have seen young predators, young cats. I'm thinking particularly about a lion that I was once involved in the capture of, Capture for a good reason, not a bad reason. Capture to move it to a separate population so that it could breed with them. Who had a cataract at 3 years old. So I honestly don't know the answer to that, James. And I hadn't realized one of them had a cataract. But that is a very, very distinctive feature. Ah. Sad to see them go, but happy that we got to see them. And I was actually going to talk about it was the next sentence on my lips in terms of the cataract and identifying individual cheetah. Laura and Bob, you wanted to know, since we use spot patterns to identify leopards, how do we go about identifying cheetah? And the answer is you can use their whisker spots. Much like in lions and in leopards, it is unique to each and every cheetah, although the top row of spot patterns isn't necessarily as clear. However, one of the ways that I do it is actually essentially exactly the same way as I personally identify individual leopards. And that is the fact that their spot patterns are like fingerprints. They are completely unique to each and every individual. And you can look at them exactly the same. So whether it's the spot patterns on the bottoms, as is the view that they are currently presenting us with, or their sides or their shoulders, you just look for some of the dominant big spots, and you slowly but surely, it's not as easy as leopards, I have to say. Again, that's because of the lack of genetic diversity in a cheetah population. So it's not as easy as leopards, but you can learn to identify individual cheetah by their spot patterns. Like hyena as well. Very, very similar way of doing things. You just have to look really closely, and it usually involves the use of pictures, which is something I used to do where I used to work, because we had 6 cheetah that we saw regularly. Babalo and Lesedi, 2 males, and then Songo and Sanana, also 2 males, and then 2 females, Naledi and Kusala. And we learned eventually to identify each and every single individual cheetah. Don't go. Come back. They are such beautiful cats. I mentioned earlier that it is fantastic to see them with such round bellies, and we've spoken at length about the fact that a cheetah as a species is a relatively unsuccessful one. And Sean, you wanted to know what their success rate in terms of hunting is compared to lions. And the answer to that is that their success rate is less than that of a lion. It's area dependent, of course, and it's prey density dependent. There's a lot of factors that will determine a predator's success rate. But for the most part, a cheetah, that's an inconvenient place for you to lie down. Oh, luckily this one's continuing. You're probably looking at around less than 20% of hunts initiated actually result in kills, which is really tough, especially for the female cheetah with their cubs. There's so much out here that is a threat to them. And in terms of the predator hierarchy, cheetahs sit right at the bottom. They really are, as a species, not particularly resilient. Just a couple of things to remark upon before our cheetah disappear. First of all, look at the color of their eyes and how dark they are. And then also look at the tear tracks that run along in the inside of each eye. And that, of course, is a product of the fact that they are diurnal hunters rather than nocturnal ones. So much like sports stars sort of paint the dark paint along their cheeks to reduce the glare, that's exactly why a cheetah have those markings. Hi, Jamie. Sorry, I'm not just saying hello to myself, by the way. There is actually another guide called Jamie. I haven't completely lost my marbles. Sandy, you wanted to know, you were wondering about how cheetah paws compare to a leopard or a hyena. And Sandy, what I'd like to do, oh, how convenient. Thank you very much, mister. What I'd like to do is actually draw them for you, because it's probably the best way, unless we can find their tracks, but unfortunately the soil is so wet that it's sort of hard and they're not going to have left tracks. To give you a rough idea, you can see the claws. In that way they are similar to hyenas. They of course do not have retractable claws like lions or leopards, so the claws are visible in the track. It sort of looks like a hyena track, but it's like it's sort of halfway between a hyena track and a leopard track. They're more elongated than the leopard tracks, and they have the 3 lobes, but the 3 lobes at the back of the pad are quite sharp. Very sharp, in fact, and quite angular. And then, as I said, they have the claws, and they have the way of walking like leopards or lions, where their back foot falls very close to their front foot on each side. The other thing is, which is completely unique to the cheetah, and I think the wildebeest is the other exception to this. Remember how we've always spoken about how with different animals, the front foot, the front track is always bigger than the back track. It's rounder, it bears most of the weight. In cheetah, it's the complete opposite, and in fact, their back track is larger than their front track, and that's purely for traction. Their back feet are larger so that they can take off in the way that they do. It's an adaptation for speed. Okay, I do need to do some chattering on the Game Drive channel again, just in order to get some vehicles here before these cheetah disappear. So while we do that, let's head across to Brent, who has got a lion on the move.
We have got the authority Mfumo on the move. Now, he started jogging. We're not sure what he's moving after, but I am riveted to find out. Could it be a lady friend? Could there be another male lion? And he is heading into some thicker area, but we will stick with him. Now, he's got quite the rotund belly in comparison to the lioness and cubs. Oh dear. Is that a roadblock ahead of us, Andre? Yes, that is quite unfortunate. Now, if you're a male lion, you just go under it. If you're a Land Rover, what do? We just go through it. He's having a sniff or a smell or a listen. Okay. I'm going to try see if we can navigate around it rather than through it. I think we're going to be able to go around it. Just. Okay. What? Oh, there we go. Are we going to make it? We're going to make it. We're not going to touch the tree like the elephants have after a mud bath. There we go, see that? Nice mud from an elephant having a splash. Now I have lost sight of the authority. Oh, there he is. Oh, elephants! You're pushing over all the trees, making my life difficult. Oh, actually, it's the authority who's making my life difficult by taking me through here. Oh, he's running after something again. Hold on. I'm going to try to stick with him. I wonder what he's running after. Oh dear, we're going to get through here. Oh, hold on. We're going to make it. Oh dear. We might be stuck. No, we're not. Never fear. Oh, he's really running. I can just see him running. Unfortunately, I can't really go quick enough to keep up with him at the moment. Actually, let's go into the riverbed where it's going to be easier. Hold on. No, we're not going to fall. Don't worry. There we go. The riverbed will give us a better. There he is. He's about to pop out in the open, and we've got a lovely racetrack to travel down. There dogs! What are you jogging after, Mr. Authority? Oh no, don't go up there. Oh, he's giving us a proper run around. Okay, so he's going up. We're going to go up as well. Oh. There we go. Watch the thorns there, Jean-Andre. Jean-Andre is scared of thorns. I'm so disappointed in him. Are you okay? So if we lose the authority, it's Jean-Andre's fear of thorns that have done it. Cameraman. In Swahili would say kama kawaida, same, or same difference. Okay, we've lost sight of him now, but he was heading. You got him? 230. Okay, awesome. So we've managed to stick with him. Is he? I'm just trying to decide which way is going to be easier. Let's go this way. He was chasing a lady friend. That's why he was in such a rush. Now, let's get a bit closer now that we've know he's not going to be jogging on. I wonder which lady friend it is. Is it Amber Eyes? Or is it the youngest in Kahuma? But while we make our way there, let's go have a look what's happening in another part of Djuma.
We've got our fire going, it's roaring quite nicely. I've managed to get our water on the boil and it's just busy getting the last few steps. Now we don't have any coffee or anything to add to it, unfortunately. We just got some warm water, but warm water is better than cold water on a day like today for sure. You can see inside there, it's a little bit leafy and full of ash, but you know, a little bit of ash has never killed anybody. Just the fact that there's that steam rising off the top of it, keeping your hands warm. Yes, I'm a very pleased little boy at the moment. I must be honest with you. Quite happy and content in our campsite over here. Got a nice big tree above us, lots of old stories to tell. Got a place to get out of the wind. Put my head down just now. And when you're busy building a camp like this, it's all about home improvements. You're never really happy, and that's the sort of mindset that you've got to be in. Everything can always be tweaked. You can always reposition your camp a little bit better. Make a better chair. We've put a chair out here. Get more firewood. Boil some more water. Make some adjustments to your sleeping mat. Get some rocks. Make them warm. There's always something that you can do, and that's what keeps you busy, basically, and keeps you going through the days. But we, for now, are quite happy. I must be honest, I'm quite happy with what we've managed to accomplish here today. I love the setting. We've got nice open bush all around us. Huge, big old tree to tell us some stories. Yes, we're not too far away from that lion, in actual fact. We're probably about, I don't know, about a mile and a half or so from that lion. I hope they don't run over here. I hear that they've been running around and giving you a lot of action over there. It's been nice, I must be honest. It's been quite nice to hear about it. But on that, and while I drink my warm water over here and enjoy my fire, I'm going to send you back over to Brent with those lions.
So he was running after a lady. Just hang on a second, I'm hearing something very strange in front of me. Very strange. Sounds like another lion cub. Somewhere in the thickets ahead of us. But almost not a lion cub. It's a very strange sound. I know with the wind it might be quite difficult for you to hear. Even with the wind, it's difficult for me to hear. There we go. She's calling. So maybe it is a lion cub, but it sounds... Maybe it's the missing cub. I can't see. Is this one of the... This is one of the mothers. Now, unfortunately, we can't actually even get into that area where the sound is coming from. It's a little ravine. So if we have a look here, so the sound's coming from in these little ravines and thickets here. I can't see anything, but the cub sounds quite upset. But Mom's not too upset, so she's calling at it, but doesn't look too stressed. I can't see anything there. Can you see anything, Jean? I think I'm just gonna... Well, we've got these here. I'm really curious to see what's going on there. Okay. I'm just gonna go forward where we can see up one of these little ravines. You got it? Oh, here it is. It's right here. It was just below us. It's the missing cub. It's not looking well. Okay, I'm going to move us into a... It could have been injured. I'm just going to move forward a little bit. How's that, Chandra? A bit better? Let me get a bit closer to the edge. So I can't see outwardly that there's anything wrong. Just the way it was calling sounds very strange. And we've got a gap through there. Forward to it. So how's that? Okay. So I mean, outwardly I can't see anything wrong. It's lying in some mud. Now, unless it moves and stands up, walks, if we can see any obvious injuries. No, it is a really tough life being a lion, and there's a whole host of ways that if this cub is injured, it might have become injured. It could have been hurt by a buffalo. It could have been kicked by a giraffe. A cub by itself could be even hurt by a kuru and a nyala. But obviously this female has run all the way down here looking for it. It's found it. She's calling at it, but it's just lying in the mud, going oh man. And it was a very strange call. It definitely stood out to me. Not sort of the normal cub contact calls. And there is the male and female. Now, on Saturday night, I heard the Nkuhumas attempt to hunt a hippo very close to this area. And Michael's wondering, do I think that the cub could have possibly been injured during that? It's very possible, Michael. I'd actually forgotten about that. That's a very good theory you've got there, Michael. But until this cub decides to stand or walk, it's very difficult for us to say whether it's truly injured or it's just been separated. But normally, with a female calling that close, the cub would run in. But it's not. It's just lying on the cool, cold mud. Now you can see the lions have been around here. If you come out a little bit, you can see the lion tracks in the mud next to you, the bigger lion tracks in the mud next to the lion cub. So it's possible that it got forgotten or was snoozing when the rest of the pride moved. But that call was very strange. And it's looking a little bit skinny, but nothing too bad. I'm trying to see any outward signs of injury, and I can't. I'm going to try find a... I think I'm going to try... Yes, there's a way. We go to the other side of the male and female where we can get into the little riverbed and we can have a look at the cub from the front. Such a strange call. Okay, we're going to go past the adults. There we go. Here's the female. And there's the authority. You can see how much better that wound is looking. Hello, Mfumo. There we go. Let's have a closer look in there. What is that inside there, Jean-André? Is it just a bit of dirt? Just a bit of dirt. A bit of a scab. Looking much, much better. There we go. Mfumo, the authority. Now, male lions are always full of cuts, nicks, holes, scratches and the like. And they do have quite the time of it defending their territory and also fighting for mating rights with the different females. Anyway, there's a fly. Don't lay eggs in there, you naughty fly. There's a fly argument happening on this schnoz. Look at those flies. Okay, well you can see how much that wound is recovered since it opened up and spilt maggots everywhere. Oh, female's calling for the cub again. Let me just move forward. Cub's not even lifting its head. You can just make it out behind her. I'm going to get down into the drainage line so we can have a better look. Tamira says, I don't understand. Why is the female not going down to the cub? Well, to be completely honest, Tamira, I can't be 100% sure. Sometimes oh, now she is. Tamira, there we go. She's walking down to the cub now. I'm still calling. The cub is answering in this very strange little voice. Okay, let's go forward a little bit. Oh, Tamira, the one reason she might not be going straight towards the cub is because of the presence of the male. So he might have amorous intentions even though she's still lactating. So sometimes there can be misdirected aggression, so she might be doing it slowly to avoid that conflict with the male, especially with the cub. I mean, there's nothing outwardly wrong, but there is definitely something wrong. I can't say what it is. Hello, Timbuti tree. I'm just going to get it past so Jean-Andre's got. There we go. Whoops, there's a hole there. Anyway, that should do. Sorry about the angle, Jean-Andre, but the lioness is quite close. I don't want to go any closer to her. There she is. So there we go. There she is. She's moved a bit closer to the cub. The cub is still lying in the exact same position where we first spotted it. Oh, I might have to move because of the... There we go. You can see that now. A little bit of mane showing, but nothing bad on the elbow there. I really wonder whether this cub can move is my question. And it hasn't made any attempt to sit up. And again, it could have very easily been injured by another animal, or even by another lion. Now, of course, this is quite an interesting scenario, and I can't be certain yet, but as I said, it looks like it might be injured. And Michael is wondering, would the lionesses eventually leave it behind if it can't keep up with the pride or slows the pride down? They would, Michael. Probably not intentionally. As you can see, this female's come back. So we're probably about 1 kilometer from where the rest of the pride are. And she's come back towards here and she's called. The cub's answered, but it's not moving. She looks like she might call again. Now, as difficult and as sad as this is, it is part of nature, and we're not here to interfere. We're here to observe. She's looking back, listening back towards where the rest of the pride are. There you go, she's calling to the cub. Jeffrey, he's in Texas, says it looks like it may have broken his back. I tend to agree, Jeffrey, but I'm still leaning towards the side of optimism. Now, I'm just going to warn everyone, it doesn't happen very often, but it can happen with an injured cub. The mother will sometimes eat it, so just be warned. And just looking at the behavior, I have seen it before. Or the male might eat it. Jeffrey, the longer I sit here, I almost have to agree with you that there's some major, massive trauma that's causing this cub not to be able to move. Oh, shame, it's calling. Now you've got to remember there's nothing we can do in this situation. Oh, wait. Oh, shame. This is really, really heart-wrenching. But we must remember, this is nature. The lioness is moving away now. The cub's calling forlornly. The lioness has moved away. I can still hear her calling for the cub. And we saw that he tried to, or she tried to get up but couldn't. No, I know. She's coming back. No, I know this might sound quite terrible, but there she's calling. And almost the best thing for this cub would be to be found by a leopard or a hyena or another predator. Or even for Mom or the Birmingham Mfumo to eat, to kill him themselves. It could be a very painful death here in the Mawati River otherwise. And I know it's going to be very, very difficult for all of us to accept, but we've got to remember that this is nature and there's not much we can do about it. There we go, look at her. She's right next to us. It's okay. Oh, I can hear that call. This is really difficult, but there's nothing we can do. There you go, she's moving off. Where's the male? I can't see the male at the moment. Oh, he's lying down over there. Oh, shame, calling as the female moves away. Tried to get up again. I can hear her. She's calling for the cub. She's coming back. She's coming back and she's calling. There she comes. She almost just seems to be trying to will the cub to follow her. She keeps leaving and coming back and leaving and coming back. Oh, the cub's trying to get up, Shana. And just try to get up again and again fell down into that position. So you can hear that call. It's different. It's just not the same. Oh, shame. Oh, James would like to know, if the cub dies, will it be collected for an autopsy? Well, James, probably not. What normally happens is the scavengers, hyenas, or the lions themselves will actually eat what's left of the cub. Here comes Mom again, calling. She's walking back. It's almost an exasperated call. Come on, come. I know this is very difficult to watch, guys. But oh, there we go. And what she's doing is she walks in, walks away, walks to where the cub can see her. Oh no, shame. Jeez. Oh no. Oh, this is heartbreaking. I don't know if I can sit here anymore. Oh, jeepers. Just try to get up again. Mom's still calling. Oh, there we go. It's moved back into a position where it's a bit more comfortable. And we're going to stay here. We're not going to go anywhere. We're just going to take a moment to sort of regroup. While we do that, let's go see what Steph's up to on foot.
Oh, shame. I'm just hearing various news of this being a very, very sad and very emotional time for everyone, and it's just, I suppose, a good time just to regroup and collect ourselves and to remember that this is Africa and it's a hard, very, very harsh place to live, and you know, these things happen, and we got to feel privileged in a way that we can bear witness to these events and to celebrate the trials and the tribulations of this pride and of the members of these prides, and it's just it's a very sombering moment to be in, to be quite honest with you. When we remember that, it sort of lends this grey, oppressive feeling to everything. But you know, the good thing is that we can follow the lives of these animals, and I have no doubt that as time passes along, there will be some more celebrations in store for these lions and for this particular lion pride. And yeah, we look forward to seeing what's next down the road, and I suppose putting this behind us as quickly as what we can. We've obviously moved on from our camp and are making our way back to quarantine and back to the DRC, which I think is going to be a little bit subdued this morning. Instead of celebrating the end of game drive, I'm sure it's going to be quiet coffees mulling over mortality. Whew. Quite difficult to actually to say anything. All I can say, I suppose, is, you know, let it be over quick, I think. But we are going to make our way through to the quarantine and obviously to the end of drive. I just want to say thank you very much for joining myself and Viam and Herbert on the bushwalk for this morning. You will see us this afternoon for the PM bushwalk, and wherever you are in the world, I just want to say, hope you have a happier day further. See you soon.
Okie dokie. Well, Dave, let's try and find something happy. Let's find something happy. Maybe the goose has chicks. Or goslings, actually, to be more specific. Let's stop and have a look. At least there's water. At least there's water, and at least it's rained. But I think a very sad morning for everyone at Safari Live. No goslings. Come on, Egyptian goose. Where are your little ones? It would have been really nice just to finish off our morning drive. Very glad that we got to see Cheetah, though, and we have left to give other people a chance to see them before they disappear completely. You can see how thick the mud is by the way that the goose is sort of lifting up its feet. They really are beautiful birds. We start to take them for granted just because we see them so frequently, but they really are very, very striking birds. And looking at this one now, I actually think it might be quite a young Egyptian goose, which would explain the lack of partner and goslings. Beautiful. Okay, no goslings there. Let's go and find something else happy, Dave. It's really nice to see the amount of water that is around, and it was actually particularly pleasant to travel around Cheetah Plains this morning and to see just how much it has rained there. As long as I have been driving around Cheetah Plains, it has been far drier than Djuma, so it's really nice to see that they at least have had a little bit of rain, enough to sustain, enough to make those big open areas nice and green and to fill up the puddles. It's very special to see. Even Djuma Dam has water in it after all this time. And Salvatore, welcome. I don't think I've heard your name before, so I think a relatively new viewer, and it's wonderful to have you on board. You wanted to know, because we seem to get out and to wander around a lot, you want to know if we're not scared of any, or nervous of walking around, and if what stops animals from mistaking us as prey. Well, first and foremost, many hundreds of thousands of years of evolution have taught the predators instinctively in this area, just like an antelope knows that a lion is dangerous without having to ever have encountered it before, just like my little Weimaraner puppy, for example, knew that a lion was dangerous without any way of having any prior knowledge of what a lion was. It's the exact same thing with the animals. They know that the human form, through evolution and through our history as a species interacting with other animals, they know that we're a hunter. We are an apex predator. And that is one of the big reasons why we are not on something like a lion's menu, except at night. And you'll notice when we get out at night, we are very careful to stay quite close to the vehicle and to always check with our spotlights and so on. And that's because the tables turn completely when night falls and we do become potential prey. But during the day, it's important to remember that there is nothing out here that wants to harm us. There's nothing here that bears us any malice or any ill will. It's simply the rare cases where human beings are attacked by wild animals is a case where that animal is scared, it's afraid, it's trying to protect itself, and it responds in kind. It has very little to do with any kind of wanting to attack us. They don't seek us out. Well, that's not true. Animals do occasionally seek out humans, but only to get an idea of what we're doing and if we're a threat, out of curiosity sometimes. So elephants, for example, will follow the scent of a human being. Rhino often circle round and try and get downwind of you to try and smell what you are. But absolutely, no, I don't get nervous. I'm far more nervous in a city than I am walking around in the bush. Having said that, I wouldn't advise somebody who doesn't know what they're doing in the wild to go and walk through the African bush. That is not safe. We've spent many years training, many years on foot, getting to know the individual animals and learning to read their behavior and learning. And it cannot be underestimated as a skill, and it's something that Steph is amazing at, is being able to walk and have that spatial awareness, to know what's going on all around you, and to be so sort of alert and intent and observant that you're aware of an animal before you become a threat to it. Well, on that note, we're going to start heading home for breakfast. I think it's time for us all to say goodbye. So from myself and Dave, and big thank you to Dave, by the way, for his wonderful camera work. And a big thank you to all of you. We're going to say goodbye for now, and we'll see you on the sunset safari. Bye-bye, everybody.
We just witnessed possibly one of the saddest things I've seen in a very long time in the African bush. The female came back, tried to move the cub with its nose and with its paws, and the cub almost just sort of hissed at her. It's very seriously injured, and unfortunately this is life out here in the African bush, and lion cubs die. It's just not often you end up in a position like this where you see them before, and I know a lot of you might disagree, but I think the best thing would be if a hyena or something happened to come across and just end this cub's life a little bit faster. It's just very, very sad, but this is the wild. I mean, we can't put our human norms and our human morality to a perfect system, nature, and it's just one of those very, very sad things. And we will come back and keep checking on this, and just a reminder to all that there's no sunset safari this evening. We are doing rehearsals, but we will keep you posted on what's happening with this beloved Nkuhuma cub, and I know it's going to be very difficult for everyone, us included. I mean, I'm distraught, but I've got to remember, this is nature. This is what happens, and just because we're here seeing it doesn't make it any more different or special. But from all of us here at Safari Live, I'll see you tomorrow.